it's okay to fail. And I thought about it, I was like, it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with failing. If you do actually take the time to sit down and reflect and say, but what did I do wrong? I'm very good at physical science. I'm good at life sciences. I could have killed that doctor's degree.
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rishingle Malomane and this is My Journey to Greatness. My Journey to Greatness is a YouTube series that I started to inspire and to motivate you by inviting different young individuals that are doing so well in their field. So in today's episode, I have the beautiful, the intelligent Talenta Tsongayinwe. Hi Talenta.
Hi, Risho. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm good. I'm good. It's cold in Joburg, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's cold in Cape Town as well. So Belinda is a CA, chartered accountant, and she did her high school in the same school as me, which I'm so proud of. And then she went to UP, and then she's been traveling. I've seen you traveling to the States as well, which was really cool. So tell us about where you come from, where you went to school, and like how high school was for you.
Okay, so I'm from Malamlele, a township in Limpopo, and I did primary school at Mahlahle. And then I did my high school at Minga. So the biggest transition for me in high school was moving from a private school to a public school. Even though like now when I think about it and I compare like private schools here to the private school that we went to, it's not the same, obviously.
It's like you didn't go to a private school.
Yeah, like but it was a private school for us, you know.
And it's still a big thing.
It's still a big thing. I went to a private school. Yeah, but Amahlahle most of the time would speak English. So now when we're at a public school, you don't really speak English all the time. I don't want to say there was a lot of ungovernable people there, but there was a bit of like a lot of crazy personalities, which I think was different when we're at the private school where there's a lot of reserved, quiet people. But yeah, that was the biggest transition for me. But I really enjoyed high school, honestly. A lot of my friends that I'm with now are friends that I made in high school.
That's nice. Like, that's so cool. So like, how was high school for you? Like, did you know what you wanted? I also know that you did like accounting and physical sciences as well. Can you explain how you got to that decision?
I've always been good at accounting. So grade 9, what was it called? EMS. Yeah, EMS. So I was very good at EMS in grade 9. Then there was like a career guidance function, those career expos. So I attended one, and then I remember there was one chick there who was talking about Bcom Accounting Sciences, being a CA. And I was like, I'm very good at accounting. Maybe I should do that. And it was a decision that was not an informed decision, honestly. I hadn't like researched about it that much, but I just loved the name, chartered accountant, and I loved the way she was portraying it. So what then happened was I did a bit of research, but I feel like it wasn't really enough research. And then I made the decision, I was like, okay, because I love EMS and I love accounting, maybe this is something that I should do. Then we got to grade 10 where we had to then choose which subjects we were doing. I honestly wanted to do economics, your accounting. So I wanted to do the economics side of it. But there was a teacher, Mr. Sono, who was like, you have so much potential. I think it'll be rather good for you to do sciences as well. So because you're saying you want to be a CA, you can do accounting and also do like the science subjects. So that's how I got to do accounting and physical sciences and life sciences.
And how was that for you? Like, because I know it's like two different fields together. Was that easy? Was that hard? How was that for you?
It was actually not that bad, honestly. And it's something that I feel it was a good decision for me to have done like life sciences, physical science, and accounting. Although I knew like when I was at grade 10 that I want to be a CA, I think it's good that I actually explored those subjects. So if there was a chance for me to, if there was like a situation where I had actually changed and decided, actually, I don't want to do this accounting thing, I could have done it. I mean, even now, if I do decide to say, maybe the CA thing is not my thing, I can still do something in sciences.
I actually like that. I actually wanted to suggest it to my little sister, but at the same time, I just feel like it's a lot of pressure because like you were lucky that you knew what you wanted, you know. But then like for most people, me included, I did not know what I wanted. And also doing accounting felt like, oh my goodness, like now I want to do something. Now I have like 3 main subjects that I need to do well in. But at the same time, I felt like when I got to matric, I realized that it was kind of a limitation because now I couldn't look at anything that has to do with accounting
related,
subject. I also need to say that you are very like gifted, like intellectually, and also just I don't know if you're comfortable with me saying this. I know that you were part of the top what, like you were part of the top people in the province. Like, can you explain that part for me and how that felt for you?
So what actually happened was, I remember we got a call. Was it from someone from the department? So it was the day before the matric results. So we got a call, and then they invited us to go to Polokwane for the results ceremony. So obviously then I knew, okay, there's a potential. Well, I did do well, but what I had expected was, okay, maybe I got 7 A's. I got the 7 A's, and that was it. That's what I actually expected. So what then happened? I remember the day of the results. So as we were walking, my brother called my mom, and then he was like, yeah, so one of the teachers at EPP Minga is looking at my results, and she actually got 100 for accounting. Wow. So my mom told me, I was like, I even brushed it off. I was like, what? Nah, they're just pulling my leg. So, and then I remember during the actual ceremony. So what happens is they don't tell you your results. You don't know about your results. So obviously before the event, the results did come out. So everyone had like the newspapers. So I was with Ntwanano and Nzukani. So we did know, okay, we got the 7 A's, but we didn't know like which position we were, or like if we'd gotten like a 300 out of 300 for any subject. We didn't know that. So I remember when we were sitting down, they started calling like the 300 out of 300 for the mathematics guys, and I was like, how does anyone even get 300 out of 300? I was like, so insane. I was like, it's so insane.
Yeah.
Then they started calling the accounting people. Then I was one of them. So I got 300 out of 300 for accounting with 2 other girls. So I was asked the 3 girls.
So it was just the 3 of you in the entire province?
In the entire province, yeah. So it was like a shock. I was like, is it me? Really? Is it me? So it was very shocking. But like when I recall how hard I worked in matric, I think it was something that I'd worked for. So it was not like it was a miracle. It was something that I actually put in the effort to actually get there.
Okay, so I just want to know, because my little sister is in high school right now, and I am trying so hard to help her as much as possible. So like, what was like your studying strategy? Like, how did you study so that at least if somebody's watching in varsity or high school, they can know, or maybe they can just try and like, what advice can you give that person? Let's just put it that way.
So I think the biggest thing, number one, is if you draw up a study plan, stick to the study plan. A lot of times we have a study plan, we say, I'm going to study at this time, but we never stick to it. So I think the big thing is have a study plan, stick to it. And then another thing is we procrastinate. We're like, I still have a week to study. I have 2 weeks to study. And then we delay the studying process. Then the time that you now have to study, you now under stress. You're like, I should have studied earlier. But always the the funny thing is we always fall into that routine where you every time you have an exam, you delay the study. So one thing that I always did was I used to study well in advance. And another thing is we focus more on what we know instead of focusing on the things that we don't know, all the hard sections. Like those things that we hate doing, we don't do them. We rather do the easy stuff. So I think one thing is you need to identify what is it that I'm actually struggling with. If you know I'm very bad with maths, focus on maths. Also look on when I'm doing mathematics, what am I struggling with, and focus on those things. So I think my main tips is plan well in advance, stick to your plan, do not procrastinate, and also focus on things that you are not sure of. So that if you do have any questions or if you're struggling, you are able to consult with your teachers or someone who's very good at it. One thing that we also used to do when I was in high school, we had like a study group. I'm not really a fan of study groups, honestly, but because most of my friends were kind of struggling, I used that as an opportunity to teach them. So it depends what you like. There are some people that like study groups and some people that don't like study groups. I think as an individual, you must try and understand what is it that you like. If you feel like the study groups work for you, do that. If you feel like they don't, then rather don't do it. So for me, I did a mix of it. So I'll study on my own and also do the study groups, because as I said, they were not really, I wasn't really a fan of them. So, but then I used that as an opportunity to teach other people. So I think just know what you like and stick to what you like.
Okay, so now I want us to talk about you, like now going into like UP. Yes. Like where did you apply for? Did you apply for different things? Did you apply for just chartered accountant?
Initially, I wanted to go to UCT, but my mom was against it. She was like, it's too far. You'll also not be able to come for every time school closes, you won't be able to come home and it's like if there's an emergency or something, you don't have family there. So
that is so true, hey? Like just to get you there, like that is so true. Like I'm in Cape Town right now.
Sad.
As adult as I am, when I fall sick, I get into depression because I'm just alone. So
there's no one. Yeah, there's no one. But I still feel jealous, or I feel like I missed out on an opportunity to stay in Cape Town. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so for me, my mom was like, you're not going there. You cannot be in a place where you're gonna be alone. So that's why I did not go to UCT. Then I had to apply UP or VIT. I was not a fan of Joburg. So now that I stay in Joburg, I still miss Pretoria so much. So I was like, oh, Joburg, Ram. I was like, it's not my kind of scenery. So I was like, okay, let's go to Pretoria. So I actually applied at the University of Pretoria only, and I applied only for Bcom Accounting. Like I was very stern about me to Bcom Accounting. I applied Bcom Accounting. I applied at UP only, and then luckily I actually got accepted at the University of Pretoria.
Sure. Talk about being specific about what you want. I like that. Like, I like the fact that you are so specific into this is what I want, this is what I'm going for it. Like, that's amazing. Like, whenever I do stuff, I'm just like, I'm applying everywhere kind of vibe.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a good thing sometimes, because you have options. If you change your mind, you have those options. So I feel like for me, sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, was it the right decision for me to actually have done? Because I always ask myself that. I'm like, why didn't I do something in medicine? But the more I analyze it, I'm like, I wouldn't have.
Oh, you would have passed, that's for sure.
I would have passed, but they have loved it. And I think passion is you have to be passionate about something. So I'm very good at physical science. I'm good at life sciences. I could have killed that doctor's degree.
Okay, definitely. And I want to just tell everyone that's watching that she means that in the most humble way, because I went to school with you and you were like always in the top 5. Like, you were just acing your academics, but I don't know how to say this in a good word, honestly. And I thought about it before the interview, that you've always been, can I say, down to earth, and you treat everybody the same, whether they're like the last or the first. You're also approachable. Like if you have a problem,
a lot,
people come to you. And also, like, even the people that you hang out with, like, you can tell that you're not being selective, that this is the only people that I kind of hang out with or anything like that. Like, what is it about you that makes you behave that way?
I think it's the way I was raised, actually. And I do get that a lot. Like, a lot of people be like, the way you're so humble, like the way you're so humble, the way you're so down to earth. So I think it's the way I was raised. I was actually raised by a single parent. My mom is a single parent, but and she's a very, very, very strict parent, but also very loving. Let me put it like this: my mom is a nurse. Well, she was a nurse. She's now retired. But just the way she is, like, so she relates with everyone. I don't like going shopping with her. So if we go to like Masingita with her, it's a big issue, because there'll be people that she meets that she'll be greeting and all of that. So, and it'll be people that when you look at them, you can see they're very, very different people. There are people that you'd even meet, they'll be like, yeah, do you remember me? You once helped me 10 years ago, I was your patient, and all of that. So I think the way she is how I am as well. It's the way she raised me. So I try to relate with everyone, and that's something that I've also seen on my Instagrams as well. There'll be people like random people that I don't know of, people who are doing Bcom Accounting, like inbox me or DM me and be like, oh, I love the way you are. Your life inspires me, and I'm like, I'm not even doing a lot. I'm just living my life.
It inspires me as well. Your life really inspires me. I think I told you this before, right?
Yeah, you did. And I'm like, I'm just living life. I feel like I'm not doing anything special, but I do get a lot of messages from especially people who are doing Bcom Accounting. I do get messages from them where they're like, I look at you and I aspire to be you. Like, when I look at your life, I'm like, yes, that's where I want to be. It keeps me pushing. And I actually love that. That I'm touching someone's life without even realizing that I'm touching someone's life.
Which is so beautiful. So now you are at UP. Ne? Did you pass all your subjects in record time? Did you fail? What happened at UP?
So UP, like when I started first year, it was different from high school. So the nice thing about me was I was part of the Tutuka program. So we were like a program with the Black kids. So it was about 30 of us, if I'm not mistaken. So we had like a community. So it was much more easier to make friends. I know a lot of people, when they go into varsity, they struggle, especially if you are there alone and you don't know anyone. It's kind of difficult. So for us, we had that Tutuka program. So it was easier to make friends with people like that we would relate to. We're all Black people. We're all from disadvantaged backgrounds. So it was easier to kind of like relate. And then varsity, it's very different from high school. So now you have your model C's. You have some people who are like they're rich, they have cars. When you walk to school, you walk to varsity, use the school bus, use the varsity bus. Some people have their own Macs, and you're like, oh, okay. So there is kind of pressure, honestly, when you join varsity. But one thing that I used to remind myself is, remember why you're here. Remember why you're here. Do not get lost by the freedom. Do not get consumed by you can do anything. There's no one looking at you. So that's one thing that I used to remind myself. I'm like, remember why you're here. You said you want to be a CA. Let's work towards that. And then also, I mean, lecturing and teaching is not the same thing. Also, in high school, people kind of know, like, people know you, not they know. We know each other. We, like, if I have a question to go ask Mr. Sono or whoever, I'm not even afraid to do that because he knows me. In varsity, yo, Mrs. Van Veek, yo, should I go speak to Mrs. Van? So you have that, like that thing of, they don't know me. Should I even go ask and all of that? But once you survive first year, I feel like the other the other years are kind of better because like I feel like first year you learn more about yourself. You really learn about yourself. But it was hard, honestly speaking. It was hard. And then in terms of passing modules, I've never failed at the module. I've never failed a module. I've never written a sub. But I have failed. I have failed exams. I have failed tests. In actually, so let me put it like this: when I was in high school, I'd never failed anything. I'd never failed a test. I'd never failed an exam. Then when you go to varsity, I remember my first fail. I was so sad. Honestly, I was like, "Is this my life now? I'm now failing." I was so shocked. I was like, me fail.
But then how did that affect you though? Because I know like being like an A student and now failing for the first time, how was that like for you?
It was hard, honestly. It was very hard. Like, but the one thing that actually comforted me or made me see like the bigger picture of everything was I was not the only A student that was failing. I had friends who were A students who were failing. So it was like, okay, so the problem is not really me. It's yes, it is me in a way. I didn't work hard because other people passed, but I failed.
So it didn't affect a lot of your self-esteem. Sorry, like it didn't affect a lot of your self-esteem.
It did a bit, but when I had the conversations with my friends, then I saw that I was not the only one who was failing. Then I was like, okay, all right, it's okay to fail. And I thought about it, I was like, it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with failing. It's okay, because when you fail, you realize what you if you do actually take the time to sit down and reflect and say, but what did I? That's what I did. I sat down. I was like, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I improve on? So I think it's as much as we like. If you're an A student, you believe, if you feel like failing is not your portion, it does teach you something. Failing, and I'm not afraid to say this. I'm saying this with confidence that it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with failing, and I think that's why a lot of people, what I've seen is like, especially people back home, I'm not gonna name and shame anyone, but I know a lot of A students who failed. And then what happened was they had to change, like a lot of things happened. They changed courses, some dropped out and all of that. And I think it is the reason why that happened was they didn't understand that it's okay to fail. Even though I'm an A student, it's fine to fail. Just reflect back and see, what is it that I actually did wrong? So I think the biggest advice that I can say to those who are in varsity is, if you fail, do not beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm such a failure. Stand up, pick yourself up and reflect, what did I do wrong? And let us improve on that. That's how I was able to get to a point where I never then failed an exam, or not fail an exam, fail a module, or do write a supplementary exam.
I think with you as well, like, okay, I don't know, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but then I feel like you did not let being an A student become your identity.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I was an A student, but when I went to varsity, I let that thing go of, I'm that girl who got 300 out of 300 for accounting. I'm that girl that got top 16 out of everyone in the province. I let that thing go, and I think that worked well for me, because I used the same method that I had in varsity, where I told you that
in high school
where I did the study group, I wanted to teach. I did the same in varsity. I was like, okay, people are struggling, let us help each other. In that way, I am helping myself as well. So I think I think like letting go of that identity worked very well for me.
I think also, like, with a lot of A students, it's very important to allow yourself to get out of that. Okay, I'm not an A student, but I feel like it's very important.
I feel like you
get out of that and just see yourself for who you define yourself in other ways besides that, so that when that is being attacked, you don't feel like your whole identity is attacked. You don't feel like you're a fraud or anything like that, because you are, like, the fact that you're an A student means that you're smart, and that is true. And despite what happens, it doesn't take away that from you.
One thing that maybe also affects them is in varsity. Well, in high school, there isn't as much effort that they would bring, like you have to bring in varsity. What happens is a lot of A students are not able to identify that now we need to work for this. We need to put in more effort in this. So I think that's what kills their esteem in a way, that you don't put in as much effort, and you're like, but this is the same way that I've been studying in varsity. In high school, it used to work. Why is it not working now? So I think the biggest thing is you need to understand this is varsity. This is not the same as high school. The methods that you had in high school won't work anymore.
Yeah, that is important there, and I hope people actually learn a lot from this conversation. Like, I feel like people would have had that opportunity to watch you grow, like I did, and how you portrayed yourself and where you are now. Like, I think it's very beautiful, the kind of life that you've lived, and you also balance things. Like, you are living your best life. Like, you go out, you enjoy your life, you work hard. I'm just like, hi, Talenta. Like, why is life for you?
I actually want to emphasize, like, I think I'm glad you brought that up. I'm one of those people. I play hard, I work hard. So, and I think a lot of people don't have that balance. So, and I think if you do too much of something, it's sometimes bad as well. So if you're working too hard and there's not that play hard aspect to your life, it does impact your life. So I'm one of those people. I will work hard. I will definitely put in the work. But then when it also comes to playing, that same effort, I will definitely put in the same effort. So yeah, that's why you see me living my best life. It's because of having that proper work-life balance. So if it's time to work, it's time to work. If it's time to play, it's time to play. So, and I think, but honestly speaking, now when I reflect back on varsity, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I was studying a lot. Hey, I'm like, I could have lived life, but I didn't live life. So to all the varsity students, please make sure that you do enjoy varsity. It's never gonna come back. If there's years that I miss ratio, it's definitely varsity. If I could go back, I'd go back.
But I get that. But then don't you feel like if you had if you had just played as much as you were working in varsity, maybe you wouldn't have done as well as you did? Don't you feel that way?
Maybe, but for me, what happened with me was first year I was playing, but I feel like I wasn't. When I reflect back now, I'm like, I wasn't playing enough. I could have played.
You had the opportunity to.
Yeah, so I think maybe, as you're saying, maybe if I had played more, maybe I wouldn't be here. I don't know. So, I mean, maybe it worked out well. The level of playing that I did, maybe it was actually sufficient.
Yeah, anyway, take home is that work hard, play hard. Like, make sure that when you're playing, you are playing. When you're working, you are working. Don't work and play and work and all that. Just
must balance this thing.
Anyway, Belinda, I was actually reading an article written by this lady that I follow on Instagram about how Tutuka changed her life and all that. So she's also a chartered accountant. So I want to speak to you about Tutuka. Like, what is that? How do you get into it?
Tutuka also changed my life. I don't think I would be where I am if it wasn't for Tutuka.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Please look out for part 2 of my journey to greatness with Talenta.